Pokemon Worlds 2025 will begin in a few days from now, and I'm going to be there. Now that's great and all, but I have a problem. I never completed Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Sure, I beat the main storyline, and the last time I played, I caught a shiny Rayquaza, but then they'd released a Teal Mask DLC, introducing an entirely new region and storyline, alongside the Indigo disc that added even more content. So with my already limited time running out before I'd have to take my flight, I would need to complete both DLCs, edit this video, and upload this all before Pokemon Worlds. But for now, let's start at the Kitakami region, where I would face the first and my biggest problem: dialogue. My initial plan was to skip most of the dialogue and the story bits to save as much time as possible, but seeing how I'd become extremely attached to Carmen and Kieran, that plan obviously did not work out. Anyways, Carmen will ask to battle me, and do you remember that shiny Rayquaza I mentioned earlier? Well, he's level 87 and EV trained, so this battle was the equivalent of a coughing baby versus a hydrogen bomb. No. Nah, bro, that Poochyena can win this. Oh, a Poltergeist? Oh, I need to Terra type for this one. I don't know if I can win this. I think I need to Terra. Phew! Oh my god. Yo, that was a lucky one tap. I'd say that was a pretty close battle. Like, who are you? After that battle, time would magically shift from nighttime to daytime, and Carmen would peer pressure me into fighting her brother Kieran. Come on, please, just have a battle with my brother, would you? No. What was that? I couldn't hear you. Whatever happened to my own free will? Not only that, but I was having a ton of technical difficulties during this stream. Now, why does that matter? Let me show you. Anyways, Eccentric versus Rayquaza. How long can we keep doing this? How long until enough is enough? All right, place your predictions. Who wins, Centric or Rayquaza? I'm really leaning Centric here, personally. What is happening? Okay, all right. Well, I guess Centric got off-screen. Centric got fucking off-screened. And Kieran is just in awe after seeing his pet literally fucking die. After giving Kieran a beatdown that he will never forget, we end up pairing up in the search to find the signboards across Kitakami. Unfortunately, Past Me was not aware of this information because I skipped the dialogue, not paying attention. On top of that, I would go back to Paldea, still not paying attention, be confronted by two old people, and end up in Blueberry Academy. Dude, I'm not supposed to be here right now. The craziest part is that it would take me 20 more minutes to get back to Kitakami after realizing I could just fly back. All right, we're so back. Definitely not my best moment. But now we need to start reading the signboards, and trust me, there is a lot of reading. There are 4 major signboards, all containing major lore pieces about, you guessed it, an ogre and a loyal trio that hates his guts. The first sign talks about how the ogre used to terrorize the village until the loyal 3 chased it back to the mountains. Although, Kieran thinks the ogre is pretty fucking awesome and would love to meet the ogre. So surely we're gonna be a good friend and help him out in his endeavors. Surely. Anyways, we take a picture with Kieran and Jesus Christ, he's awkward. Look at him. And would make our way to the next signboard. This sign talks about how the ogre has 4 different masks and the loyal 3 took all of them. But you know, it was for the sake of the village, of course. And Kieran continues to yap about how much he loves Ogerpon. So, we take another picture and move on to the mountains. Don't worry, we still have 2 more signboards to go to that have even more lore than these 2. So, we head to Ogerpon's cave where the next signboard is, and oh, look, Kieran wants to battle. You can probably guess what happened. We walk into the cave and surprise, surprise, Ogerpon is not home and is actually nowhere near the area. Although, Kieran seemed to really enjoy the adventure and invited me to a festival, unknowing that this festival would change the entire course of not only this DLC, but the next DLC as well. So anyways, I beat up Carmine again, played a game called Ogre Oostin? Beat Carmine in that as well, and oh look, an Ogerpon. Or an Ogerpon? Hey, over here. Can you stop looking around like an idiot? Like, now Ogerpon does end up noticing us but gets startled by Carmine and runs off. We get into a cutscene where Carmine, assuming it's a kid and not a full-blown mythical Pokemon, tries to call it down only for his mask to fall off, revealing that the ogre in the tails is actually Ogerpon. Surprising no one. The real issue is when Kieran shows up and you and Carmine just lie to him. Just because you can. And then he just runs off after thinking we were talking bad about him. So now we have to go talk to Grams to learn about the lore of Ogerpon. But since Kieran walks out the house, the only logical response is to attack him and tell him to go away. Anyways, we find out that Ogerpon is actually good and the Loyal 3 are bad. And Carmine gets really mad about how the Loyal 3 outcasted Ogerpon from the village. Kinda reminds me of someone. Speaking of that someone, Kieran has been listening to this entire conversation and even tries to confront and make us tell the truth, yet the game doesn't allow you to do that. This game is twisted. Why is there no truth option? Why can't I tell the truth? They make you lie anyways. And Kieran is pissed. So when it comes time to do the final signboard, things go okay at first. Kieran went into battle, declaring that he'd win this time for sure. Yeah, that was never gonna happen. Kieran would also mention that the village would seemingly try to outcast Ogerpon, and your response options are, "You're right," and "Sorry." Kieran doesn't take kindly to either of these responses. But hey, I'm sure this will all blow over and we can just go back to being friends. And Kieran takes a teal mask while me and Carmine were fighting a Milotic. So, that's not good. So now we have to confront Kieran, where he admits to knowing about us lying, takes the time to mention that he's just like Ogerpon for real, and now wants to throw hands. I think we all know where this is going, so let's just skip to the end. So after losing a fourth time, Kieran punches the evil god's resting place, and one cutscene later, they are all awake now. And they run off, all to accomplish one of their common goals in life, which is to jump Ogerpon. Yes, 15 minutes back on Earth after being resurrected from the dead, and they are already throwing down. Dude, please just let me put them all down with Rayquaza. And obviously, Arceus heard my prayers because they sent Monkey Dory, who I could treat as an example to anyone who dare hurts that cute leaf ogre. Anyways, they all end up running away after realizing that they were all going to lose that fight. The funniest thing is Kieran apologizes for everything after we started it. Dude, like, I fuck with Kieran so heavy. He's the GOAT. Now we have to find Ogerpon's lost mask that the village people just gave to the Loyal 3, who've run across completely different locations around Kitakami. So, let's go beat them up, starting with Monkey Dory. Why is it, like, huge? What the fuck? Goddamn Goliath? Jesus Christ, why is he that tall? Even with the size increase, we were able to beat the 7-foot monkey and the two others who are just completely irrelevant. So with Ogerpon's masks returned and the village now realizing that Ogerpon was the true hero all along, that should be it. Until Kieran had this to say. Let me battle you, I want to see what... No. So I'd yet again prove that Kieran will not be able to beat me, even if I was limbless, blindfolded, and or sick and tired. But even after that, Ogerpon wants to battle us as well, which should go fine. Nope, it is an entire raid battle. With this gimmick being every single time you defeat it, it will switch forms into a new mask and terrestrialize. You have to defeat 4 different raid battle level Ogerpon. So thankfully, while my Pokemon were still over leveled and really good, if this boss fight was any more difficult, it could give me some serious problems. So now, all that's left is to catch Ogerpon, battle Carmine one more time, and say goodbye to her and the Kitakami region. But wait, where's Kieran? Oh my god. I need to become a lot stronger. Christ, dude. Just you wait, basic Bobby. Anyways, the Teal Mask DLC would take a total of 4 hours, and man, having over-leveled Pokemon makes the game a lot easier. So by that logic, I'm sure the time for the next DLC won't take super long. Surely. It took 7 hours. This DLC wouldn't make this video any easier, mainly because it adds so much content to the game. There are new characters, old characters, annoying characters, an entire terraria of Pokemon brought from past regions to this one, and even a new legendary. So we'd make our way to Blueberry Academy, the school that we're being transferred to, where we're met by Lacey, a student of Blueberry Academy and Clay's daughter. This DLC focuses on double battles with cool unique team builds, like Lacey's Plusle and Minum spamming Discharge to continuously buff themselves. It still was no match for the firepower of Shiny Rayquaza and Meowscarada, although she did put up a pretty good fight. But now we have to revisit my greatest enemy of this video, the plot. But we do get to see Carmine again. For her, it's been 3 months since she's last seen us, but it's also been less than 24 hours for me. So if it's been 2 months in game, then how has Kieran changed? Oh my god. Ever since the Rayquaza incident in 2025, Kieran has not been the same since. Now he's a trainer at Blueberry Academy. In fact, he's the strongest trainer in Blueberry Academy. And on top of that, he's an asshole. And this isn't an opinion, he's objectively an ass. And everyone seems to think that, including Drayden. See, Drayden is the second strongest trainer in the region, and while he likes Kieran, he believes that he takes battle way too seriously. So Drayden devises a plan to manipulate everyone in the Elite Four, including Kieran, to convince us to join the BB League and skip all the way to the Elite Four. And Kieran agrees. It doesn't matter who I'm facing, I don't lose. So now we're on a mission to beat the entire Elite Four, starting off with Crispin. You could only imagine what type they specialize in. Now, every Elite Four member has a special challenge that you're supposed to do before you can battle them. And Crispin's challenge is to make the hottest sandwich with the ingredients given from trainers. And oh boy. I spent around 20 minutes trying to make a spicy sandwich until realizing there was a guy hiding behind a rock, holding the last ingredient I needed to make that sandwich and fight Crispin. Thankfully, Crispin was baby easy. And while that battle was easy, I would face an even bigger issue of grinding BP. Every Elite Four member requires at least 50 BP to even challenge them. So I had to do individual quests because I didn't have anyone to do union circles with. But after some grinding, I would have enough to challenge Amarys. Now, her trial would be a recreation of the space-time travel from Pokemon Ultra Sun and Moon, so that would be extremely easy. So I'd assume her fight would be the same, and I would eat my words completely. I genuinely would have lost the fight if I didn't have items on top of items to save me, and even then it was close. That was absolutely a wake-up call and made me realize I need to lock in or I'm going to lose. And then Kieran would show up out of nowhere to say this. I was getting worried. I'd be so disappointed if Basic Bobby got weaker. Dude, I'm not getting... Okay. Alright, you know what? Anyways, now it's time to fight Lacey. And after using my very high intellect to masterfully deduce the correct answer for each question and getting every single question right, I was skillfully Meteor Mash all of her fairy types with Lucario, and used Meowscarada and Lycanroc to claim my third Elite Four member, only leaving the second strongest trainer in the region, Drayden, who would show up to congratulate me but warn me of his Dragon-type Pokemon. But that wouldn't be a problem. I have Rayquaza, Gardevoir, I have options. So I'd walk up to Drayden as confident as ever, team in hand, and I have to do what? So all I could do at this point is catch the most ragtag team of Pokemon, change their moves and their natures, and even do Wo-Chien raids for EXP for 3 hours straight. So now all that's left is to take down Drayden. Yeah, I lost twice. But the real difference would come from me catching a Milkray and spending even more time looking for one of his many evolution items, and one twirl later, I now have this. So let's be real, how can this little guy beat an entire team of full-fledged dragon? As soon as Alcremie showed up on the field, all I had to do was spam Dazzling Gleam while baiting my other teammate. She quite literally swept Drayden's entire team, all with one move. Flygon, Dragon Pulse, and that's GG's. And now with Drayden and the rest of the Elite Four defeated, all that's left is the champion, Kieran. And he tried to ego me after beating Drayden. So after beating Kieran 5 times in Kitakami, let's show Kieran that even if he's the strongest trainer here, he's still no match for Rayquaza. Oh, Alcremie and Rayquaza! My goats. Kieran would bring out a completely different VGC level team. Even with his lead Dragonite and Poliwhirl, I was on a mission. All I did was start Rayquaza's outrage and it was done from there. The battle was already out of Kieran's hands. One by one, I was tearing his whole new team apart. And on the final turn, I press Dragon Ascent on his Hydrapple just for him to Terrastalize into a fighting type. Terra fighting? Oh my god, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Oh, that's Goroth Hydrapple. Oh. And just like that, Kieran was defeated. GG's, Kieran. Thank you for the $19,000. Kieran's having a mental breakdown, everyone's concerned, and Drayden is still a snarky asshole. Too bad about the outcome. He's cheesing and shit. Shit. Nah, you just can't say that. You can't do that. He then gives us a Master Ball just because. Anyways, we all get called down to the principal's office for what I did to Kieran, but instead, it's actually involving Area Zero. Did you know this DLC's whole thing was about Area Zero? Yeah, me either. I thought the whole thing was about beating up Kieran. But regardless, Briar takes us, Carmine, and Kieran to Area Zero. And if you believe Kieran can't become even more unlikable, don't worry, you have another thing coming. Speaking of Kieran, he is really mad because I'm doing everything for our team, but also he's being his unserious childlike self again. So maybe, just maybe, he'll change back to the Kieran that we know and love. And as soon as he gets the opportunity, Kieran pulls a gem out of the core of Area Zero, spawning in Terrapagos. And Kieran cannot stand the thought of me catching another legendary. So he throws a Master Ball at it while it's walking towards me and then challenges me to a fight. What is he, 0-7 now? But apparently, Terrapagos can get way stronger if you Terrastalize it. And that's exactly what Kieran does, and now everything is getting out of control. The cave is shaking, the ground is breaking under everyone, and when Kieran tries to return Terrapagos to its Master Ball, it literally breaks. So now it's up to us to begin the closing act and capture Terrapagos. So of course, you know who I'll be using. The man who started this video off, Rayquaza. Terrapagos has the same gimmick as raid bosses where you need to Terrastalize to do constant damage to them. We also team up with Carmine during this battle, but after all of her Pokemon get knocked out, we have to ask Kieran to help us, but he's obviously not locked in. But after enough pleading and a long enough struggle, we finally get to team up with Kieran, defeat Terrapagos, and capture it. Rayquaza's outrage one last time. Finally, after 7 hours. After 7 hours, dude. 7 fucking hours. We did it. Hell yeah, man. Completing the Indigo Disc's main story. Ay, that was long. As we walk back to Blueberry Academy, Kieran pulls us to the side and apologizes to us and asks to be friends again. So yeah, while us manipulating him turned him into a terrible person, and we absolutely started this, sure, I will accept your apology, Kieran. All jokes aside, this video is 12 hours long, and it is currently Wednesday, 3:23 a.m. at the time of recording this very moment, which means I completed this before Pokemon Worlds. So yeah, I really enjoy Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I love Carmine and Kieran, and they'll probably be some of my favorite characters for the foreseeable future. I think this is probably one of my favorite videos to edit, script, and just work on, man. I'll be at Pokemon Worlds for the entire weekend, and I just can't wait to have an amazing time there. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for 500 subscribers, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.